Have you ever left an interview feeling like you didn't showcase your skills and experience? Well, I'm going to show you how to sell yourself in the interview as the perfect candidate so that you can leave a lasting impression and increase your chances of getting the perfect job offer. I'm Amri Celeste, an interview coach, and interview tip number 1 is about storytelling. One of the most powerful phrases you can use in your interview is the phrase, "for example." I use this in almost every video I do and every interview. I even used it in my last video in an example answer about effective communication. This is how I used it. This requires effective communication because in order to ensure stakeholders are getting the information they need, I have to keep their motivations in mind. For example, when I send a report to the marketing director, I highlight all of the areas of the project that link with what they do as opposed to a full update covering all areas. Now, I've always said that examples help the interviewer visualize you in the situation. That's why they're so powerful, but it's actually much deeper than that. So the words "for example" are almost always followed by a story. Stories evoke emotions and create an emotional connection with the person listening. So this emotional engagement helps to keep them interested and invested in the story, making it more likely that they will remember the details and remember you. The verbal imagery is more vivid, which makes your answer more memorable. When people can visualize events and characters in a story, they're more likely to remember the details and remember you. But most importantly, stories have a clear narrative structure, which is why I'm always recommending the STAR method. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end, which helps to create cohesion and it helps to keep your answer organized. So this structure makes it easier for the interviewer to process and remember the information that you presented. Now, if you've never heard of the STAR method, it's a fantastic way to keep your answer structured. It's not for every interview question, but it is a clincher for situational questions and some competency-based questions as well. I cover the top 22 STAR method interview questions and answers in this video, so watch that before your interview for some solid example answers that you can use. Now, if you haven't already, leave a comment and a like letting me know your thoughts. It's a big help to the channel and spreads this video to more people on YouTube. If you've already had results, you can also buy me a coffee. There's a link in the description below showing you how to do that. So the second way is to batch your key skills. Another phrase that will transform how you sell yourself is "I have a combination of." So you can use this when you're thinking about how to sell yourself and you're answering questions like, "Why should we hire you? Tell me about yourself," or any question that is open and vague. It's not strictly competency-based or situational or behavioral. It's deliberately vague because it's been designed to probe how you would approach the answer. So I cover all of those interview types: situational, behavioral, competency-based. I cover all of those interview questions and answers in these videos on how to interview, which I will link in the description below. So you can use this example right at the beginning of an answer or toward the end to batch your skills and sell multiple skills at once. So here's an example for a sales role. A combination of key skills I hold that I feel are essential to succeed in this role include new business development, client relationship development, and being able to consistently deliver in a sometimes pressurized and challenging environment. I have strong, clear communication skills with an approachable and flexible selling style so I can adapt to each customer. That is part of an answer to the interview question, "Why should we give you the job?" I've taken that answer from my top 20 tough interview questions and answers guide here, which I will link below. It's totally free and you can get that answer plus 19 more to help you get prepared for your interview. So you can see in that answer how the skills are batched. You are preparing the interviewer that you're going to cover multiple skills. So this is how to sell yourself in a way that allows you to cover multiple skills. I've used this technique in a lot of my answers, which you may have spotted if you've seen a few of my videos. Rapport. Rapport builds an emotional connection with your interviewer, but it is overlooked for a variety of reasons. Have you ever seen a segment on a show like X Factor or a public voting show where before you even hear the candidate's talent or skill, you're already rooting for that candidate, or you're in tears because they have some kind of lifelong personal ailment, or they've made great sacrifices for their family or their country, and you love this person before you even know whether whether they have any talent at all, it almost becomes unimportant. And there are several examples of when those candidates then go on to win. I've seen very talented performers and singers, artists on these shows that are unlikable. No one is rooting for them regardless of their talent. So why is this? So these shows spend millions on understanding human behavior and psychology, and they understand that human beings make emotionally based decisions. So they know that they have to create an emotional connection to a specific person to up their chances of success. So there isn't that much difference in an interview in terms of how a hiring manager connects with a candidate. To date, I've conducted about 4,500 interviews, and a lot of the time this can be what happens. Rapport is one of the most critical interview skills. But does this mean that you don't have a chance? No, it actually means the opposite. You can build an emotional connection that is authentic. So you don't have to lie or manipulate, but you need to tap into the emotional areas that are relevant and true for you in terms of selling yourself into the role. And yes, how you present your relevant skills and experience also matters. That helps with building a connection as well. So here's an example of this in an answer. So let's say that you were asked the most popular interview question, tell me about yourself. I won't give a whole answer, just the part where you link your personal values to something meaningful. So those are the transferable skills that I think would add value in this role. But something I haven't mentioned so far are my values. It's one of the key reasons I applied for this role. I had a look on LinkedIn when I was preparing for the interview, and I saw your efforts and photos with ex-shelter last year, and I was really impressed by the company's commitment to giving back to the community. I volunteered at a local homeless shelter last year, and it was one of my most rewarding experiences. I was really excited going through the application process, just thinking about a company that is naturally aligned with my values and has some focus on making a positive impact. Now, this is only part of the answer, but here is why it's strong. One, you've piqued their interest and categorized this part of your answer by closing off the last section at the beginning where it says, so those are the areas where I can add value, but there's something else I haven't said. Two, in explaining your values, you have shoehorned in that you prepared for the interview, how you prepared, one of the avenues you used, LinkedIn, and what you found. This is so important because the interviewer knows that you are taking this seriously. Don't think that the interviewer will just know this. You need to try and make as many things as possible crystal clear. The third reason this is strong is the value itself. It's not linked directly to the role, but you're sharing something that aligns with your values and the emotional impact of that on you and why. You talk about how you felt when you saw the job and went to apply, excited by the idea of working for that company. So of course you need to use a value that is personal to you, not the exact same one. That's just an example. And one more bonus tip that is a game changer to boost your interview skills: flexibility. Flexibility is a great fallback in an interview answer on almost any topic. It does two things. So it positions you as more of a more rounded and experienced candidate, and it presents you as more open and considerate to the styles and perspectives of different colleagues, giving more depth and nuance to your personality. You can use this to describe your communication style. I have strong, clear communication skills with an approachable and flexible selling style, so I can adapt to each customer. So that's from the example earlier on how to batch your skills. Now you can use it to describe preferences as well. Flexibility is a really important trait to me, particularly when it comes to my personal preferences. I'm someone who is willing to adapt to different work environments or schedules depending on the needs of the job and the team. For example, I recognize that sometimes project deadlines or other factors may require me to work outside of regular business hours or adjust my schedule in other ways. And you can use it to demonstrate how you learn and develop. I believe that being flexible and adaptable in terms of learning and development is critically important. I'm not familiar with new technologies, but I wanted to adapt to complete a project last year in the most efficient way. So I completed a certification program covering some of the latest technologies. And here's one last pro tip to make you a powerhouse candidate. Subscribe to this channel and you will get regular tips every single week so that you can be exceptional in your interview. And I'll see you in the next one.